Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
On to the NFL, man, where there is a lot going on in the NFL, mostly because of free agency. The free agency period opened up, and there was a flood of, deals that happened, concerning other teams as well as the Patriots. We actually did a recap on ProFans_Sports on IG last Wednesday, where we talked about some of the moves that were made by the Patriots. If you'd like to go watch it, it's on the live there. So please go check that out. But some NFL news, man. A lot of guys are moving around. Some guys are staying put. One of the big receivers, Kenny Golladay, signed with the Giants, so he'll probably be making $18 million a year now with the Giants. I think he signed for like 4 years, $72 million. Juju Smith-Schuster is back with the Steelers. He chose to stay home, and he took less money as well to stay with them. I don't know if that's foolish or what, but he's going back to them. Ryan Fitzpatrick has signed to the Washington football team. The former Dolphins quarterback, as well as every other team.
I was about to say,
in this league,
former every team in the league.
Right, exactly. Like, dude's played for like 9 teams. Like, seems like he's almost played for like half the league. Seriously. Yeah,
I thought he was gonna come to the Patriots and make the the trifecta or whatever. Because
the AFC East, right?
Yeah, complete the cycle. I mean,
he played for the. Did he play for the Jets?
He played for the Jets. He played for the Bills. I thought
he played for the Dolphins. Right.
I'm like, damn. What if he comes to the Patriots? And I mean, we don't know yet. He might be here next year.
If he ends up playing another year, right? We'll
this guy,
see what happens. But good for Fitzmagic that he's in DC and playing with Washington. I actually like that move. So
yeah, he seems like a free agent every single year.
Because he signs 1-year deals every year. So that
I like it.
Sense.
Listen, you give me $10 million, you give me 10. I'll take 10. I'll take 10. You know what I mean? That's
right. He's just collecting the bags at this point, which I don't blame him.
Listen, I'll teach these guys.
So I'd be collecting too. I'd be getting every bag I could get if I were him.
I'll teach these guys how to play quarterback. Deshaun Jackson signed to the Rams. Former Eagles wide receiver. Hopefully he can have a healthy year because it's been a while since he's had a healthy year. Hopefully this is it for him this year. Kyle Fuller, former Chicago Bear, has signed to the Broncos. Philip Lindsay actually signed to the Texans. So the former Broncos running back. I think that's a good move. It seems like the Texans have every running back in the league now. They got Ingram. They still got old boy, what's his name?
David Johnson,
and now they added Philip Lindsay. So
yeah,
should be a really good backfield.
Yeah, for sure. Good, good moving, good depth piece to add to their backfield. I wonder how they're gonna make it work with all 3 of those guys. But I know David Johnson's always same thing with Deshaun Jackson. They're always hurt. They never stay healthy. So it makes sense to have depth at that position for the Texans.
For sure. Mitch Trubisky, we spoke about him, and I told you guys he was going to find a place pretty soon. He signed a 1-year deal with the Bills, and subsequently Andy Dalton signed with the Bears, which is a move I really don't get.
Me
because
either.
I would much rather Mitch Trubisky over
Andy Dalton. Facts. Exactly. It's like they downgraded.
From what I've seen, Mitch
Trubisky. I don't know. I disagree. I think first of all, I think they both suck. And
yeah, they're both trash.
It's like picking potato and I don't know.
Check this out. Last year, the Bears got Nick Foles, right? Mitch Trubisky started 2 games, went 2-0, and he threw an interception. 3rd game, they decided to put Nick Foles in. 2-0, and you decide to start Nick Foles, okay? So Nick Foles comes in and he becomes trash and gets injured. Mitch Trubisky gets back in there and takes them to the playoffs. You know what I mean? I don't know much about Mitch Trubisky, but he's not like a 10-year vet or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a young quarterback.
Right? He played that long in the league.
But it might be a situation where you have to hold his hands, though. Maybe you have to say, toward to number 10, toward to number 12. But no matter what, the fact that he signed with the Bills with no opportunity to be a starter tells me all I need to know about that guy.
Listen, I know that we've shitted on Mitch Trubisky, but I think the Bears kind of like screwed him over. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like
I'm with you on that.
He's a capable kid because of what they did to him. Like, how do you bench a guy that starts 2-0 for you?
I think whatever they see. This is the guy. This is the guy that's signing with a team that has a quarterback that he has no opportunity to start. Why would he sign with the Bills?
Because there's nowhere else to go.
Oh no,
he didn't get any other offers.
Where else are you gonna go?
I would have if I'm any quarterback that's like, what do you call that? That's competitive, that wants to start, that wants to play. You're not gonna sign with a team that has they have like a young quarterback. There's no opportunity for you to like learn anything. Like I would never go there.
I think the opposite, because now you have an MVP candidate in Josh Allen, you know what I mean, with the quarterback's coach over there. That's a chance to learn, because like Mitch Trubisky didn't have anybody to learn from at all.
That's a young guy. I mean? I would go somewhere. I don't know. I would go with to any, like the Panthers need a quarterback. The Jaguars need a quarterback. Like there's teams that need quarterback. Right. There's teams that have veterans that I would rather learn from. The fact that he goes to the Bills tells me all I need to know about this guy. That guy would never be my quarterback.
The Jaguars are not going to sign him because they want Trevor Lawrence, and you're not going to have a former starter in front of Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean? That's why they're trying to get rid.
Not in front of him. Just I'm gonna go somewhere where I might want to start. I'm not gonna go somewhere where I know there's no chance I'm starting.
I think, in my opinion,
it's just not where I'm going.
It's a good move for him because he gets a chance to learn, sit for a year, and listen. He signed a 1-year deal. Next year, he's going to be on the open market again, and there could be guys looking. Maybe. And I feel like the Bears owed him because he saved a lot of jobs by getting them into the playoffs. You know what I mean? For the first time in a long time, like this guy's done a better job than like Jay Cutler. You know what I mean? Rex Grossman in his short time being
Mike Glennon.
You know what I'm saying? Like in a really short time,
they had a whole bunch of bums at quarterback.
What I'm saying is, I think they gave up on him way too soon. I think they really like tried hard to give him a really bad rep, and I mean, the last few games he played on the Bears, he was really good. But not to stay on Mitch Trubisky. I think good luck to him. But Andy Dalton will be their starter now, and you saw what he did with the Cowboys, and I'm like, I would much rather.
Oh boy! And that's what I'm saying. That's a big downgrade right there. Like, what are they doing? Like,
listen,
you go from Mitch Trubisky to Andy Dalton. Like what? Like,
I mean, Andy Dalton wasn't a terrible quarterback for the Bengals, but that time's passed now. You know what I mean? It's been a while since he's been that good. You know what I mean? And Mitch Trubisky, he's still a young guy, still learning. And I think we should look at the coach, what they try to do. You know what I mean? Dude, if
the coaching is trash.
If Cam Newton,
and I'm the Bears.
If Cam Newton gets in the playoffs last year, I think we talk about him a lot differently than we talk about him now. You know what I mean? You have a guy that actually
even as bad as he played, John? Even as bad as Cam Newton.
You don't think we look at him a little different?
A little bit, but not
if he got into the playoffs?
Not much differently with his poor performances last year.
But different.
I'll give you that a little differently. A little, right. But not much differently.
Right. Michael Brockers signed to the Detroit Lions. He was the guy that actually said, we finally got a good quarterback now since Matthew Stafford came in, and now he got traded to the team that his old quarterback got in, which is the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff. So he had to make like a quick apology, to Goff, saying that, he was just trying to get the fan base hyped and all that stuff. So,
oh, is that right?
yeah, he got traded. Will Fuller got traded to the Dolphins, the former Texans wide receiver. Chris Carson's re-signed with the Seahawks. The running back is staying there. Justin Simmons signed a 4-year deal worth $61 million with the Broncos.
Ooh,
Corey
that's
Davis.
the bag right there.
Right.
That's the bag.
Corey Davis signed with the Jets. Adam Gase, man, he's helped.
No, he's fired.
No.
Robert Saleh.
I know. Adam Gase helped out Corey Davis a lot. You know what I mean? Because he was with the Dolphins with Ryan Tannehill. Fucked that up, and Ryan Tannehill got sent to the Titans, and then Tannehill helped Corey Davis get a couple good seasons, and now he's getting the bag in Gase's former place. So it's like, the cycle continues.
It's like a cycle. I didn't notice that. That's a good point, John. I didn't even see that.
So he signed with the Jets, and I don't know why he did that. You know what I mean? Because there was other teams. Man. Listen, Allen Robinson accepted his franchise tag to the Bears, and he heard Kenny Golladay was coming in for a visit. He's like, oh shit, let me sign right now before the market dries up. You know what I mean? So he's back over there. Jameis Winston signed with the Saints. Janoris Jenkins, who was with the Saints, signed with the Titans. Taysom Hill signed a 4-year, $140 million deal with the Saints. I believe we actually told him that news last week, I believe. But we'll tell it to you again. Who cares? Kenyon Drake signed with the Raiders. Joe Tooney signed with the Chiefs, the former Patriots lineman. I think he signed like a $80-something million deal, and these guys don't get deals that big, that lucrative. Trent Williams.
And especially a guard. They usually doesn't get signed, so good for him.
Right, good for him. The left tackle signed back with the 49ers, so he'll stay there. Emmanuel Sanders signed with the Bills.
Another good move.
Another good move for them. Possession receiver. Seahawks do not want to trade Russell Wilson, so people should put those trade ideas.
Well, they got like three first round pick or
picks.
something.
Mm-hmm.
And they said no, that's crazy.
From the Bears, right? I remember they gave him a huge offer, and they're like, "Nah, we still don't want to trade."
I think that's the right move. Once you have a franchise quarterback, you don't trade him away.
Well, they better do what they got to do to
keep him happy,
to protect him and keep him happy. You know what I mean? The Saints were punished for a COVID-19 violation. They got a $700,000 fine and lost a 6th-round pick. And lastly, man, really huge news. Deshaun Watson, the quarterback from the Texans, right now he's their quarterback, and he's been seeking a trade. And, since he sought that trade, he's landed in some hot water recently where, a few lawsuits have been filed against him, some sexual allegation lawsuits. So they're saying that he allegedly sexually abused some women, some sexual misconduct with the women, a few masseuses around the Houston area. And those complaints are stemming from pretty recently, as recent as earlier this month and, as January. And the story is that, while he's in these parlors or wherever he's at getting these massages, he behaves, in a way that men should really not behave with the women. And, he right now is facing 12 lawsuits, since it's been reported, up to 12 lawsuits. Wow. And alleged allegations from different women. I believe his attorney is something Busby, and he's a Houston-based lawyer. Came out and basically explaining to the people that, hey, this is for real, and we got to listen to the victims of the situation. Deshaun Watson has since, he's denied everything. You know, he says that he's always respected women, and you know, he's gonna work to clear his name. It's really not about the lawsuits; it's about his name. He's not looking for money, none of that. He doesn't care what's happening. He's just trying to clear his name. And you know, this is something that's really not new for the NFL. Unfortunately, you know, we see these situations happen all the time. Not to bring them up, but most recently, you know, Antonio Brown, who just won a Super Bowl. So I know you guys seen the news, like, because I know Deshaun Watson has been mentioned to, you know, the Pats have been mentioned to be interested in him, or you know, a lot of the fan base want him, deservedly so. And of course, why wouldn't you want Deshaun Watson? But you know, since the news came out, like, how do you guys feel about that? I know a lot of the news and a lot of the fans say stuff like, you know, this is happening because he asked for a trade. You know what I'm saying? Based on other things we've seen happen in the past in the NFL. How do you guys feel about that? And you know, just your thoughts.
I think these are very serious allegations, and that we should be listening to the victims, and that you know, if there's no place for men to behave like this, and that any allegations that are coming true should be listened to, and we'll wait for the legal procedures to go through, and whatever comes out of that, we'll talk about it. I'll talk about it then. I know that I'm not glancing over the fact that those allegations are coming out right when he asked for a trade. I think there's definitely a motive behind those allegations coming out when they're coming out. But no matter what, if those things, those things that happen, if he committed them, there's no place for that. And yeah, and you know, whatever comes out of those legal procedures, we'll talk about it then.
Yeah, I think you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, these allegations have, you know, happened and transpired. You know, I definitely take them seriously as well. I will admit, at first, I didn't, you know, so much just because I thought, oh, it was just, you know, these women trying to get a quick cash bribe and get a bag. But as the number kept going up and increasing throughout the week, then I'm like, oh shoot, like maybe this is more serious than, you know, I initially thought. And you know, and these women must be, you know, saying this for a reason. If it's, you know, up to 12 now, like you just stated, John. So yeah, I think it's you know, definitely unacceptable, you know, for, you know, any men to treat women like this. And you know, I'm certainly with Vlad on that. Like this, you know, there's no excuse and no reason of why, you know, this should, you know, be happening, you know, by any man, professional athlete or not. Like, you know, just, you know, men just can't treat, you know, women like that, point blank, period. So, yeah, I think it's, you know, terrible that, you know, these allegations have come up and added up to the amount that they have. You know, I hope that, you know, I hope that you know, they, if they are true, that the women do get, you know, the justice that they, you know, they do deserve to get, if, you know, it is, you know, really true what ended up, you know, transpiring in that situation with Deshaun Watson. But yeah, like kind of glad, so we'll wait and see how the rest of this, you know, legal process goes, you know, before we can really comment on it any further. But and I just think that, yeah, it was a really unfortunate and sad thing that happened, and that it's really gotten to this point. It's It's really bad. So we'll see how the rest of it goes.
Yeah, I mean, these things definitely like scare me as a man. You know what I mean? That's definitely a position I never want to be in. You know, so I definitely like respect women, and I don't ever want to be associated with nothing like that. You know what I mean? And the number of allegations, like they give you pause. You know what I'm saying? Like 12 people is a lot of people. You know,
It
and it's
is,
like
absolutely.
it it comes to a point where it's like, well, if 12 people are saying you did this and one person saying no they didn't, like who are we gonna believe? You know what I mean? It's like, damn. But at the same time, like I understand these things happen all the time where these guys are, you know, falsely accused of stuff, and it happens. You know, it's unfortunate. If that's the case, I hope whatever happens, if he's guilty about this stuff, then you know he gets his punishment. But if he's not, like people involved should get their punishment as well. And I think it's only fair, you know. But I certainly think victims should be heard, you know, at all times. You know, no matter what happens, as you know, as a father
even if it's one, even if it's just one victim,
right? You know, as a
absolutely
father of a young lady and stuff, you know, like I definitely want her to be in a position to be heard and be taken seriously as to whatever is going on. But I definitely think it's an unfortunate situation all the way around. One thing I don't agree with is like this is not a criminal lawsuit, right? So this is not something where Deshaun is gonna get like arrested and put in jail and stuff like that. So this is like a civil thing where they can hash it out in court, and you know he can give like a monetary thing to like settle it and stuff like that. And that kind of stuff kind of like irks me because it's like, what about the victims that are victims of people that don't have money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so basically you're not gonna press charges, you just want some money. You know what I mean? And like to me it like diminishes a little bit what's happening. It doesn't diminish, you know, what happened between whatever the situation is. But I think, you know, for like victims that, you know, are from people that are not in a position to pay them thousands and thousands of dollars, like it's a different situation. And I don't think they ever think about going for like a civil thing. It's like, yo, this person does that to me, put his ass in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no, like, I don't need your money type of thing. But unfortunately, you know, that's what happens. And, you know, we're going to leave it at that and update you guys when the time comes. You know, good luck to, you know, that situation. And I don't know, hopefully people get justice whatever way it ends up going, right? On to, well, actually, there was a question, right? What are your thoughts on Deshaun?
We basically just answered it.
Yeah, that was pretty much
the question.
What are your thoughts on Deshaun Watson's trade after the civil lawsuit?
Yeah. Did you answer that?
Oh, I guess the trade.
The trade talk, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any. Excuse me, I don't have any thoughts on the trade per se. I think I just want to see what happens once everything is over. Yeah, I think my thoughts were more on what happened with him and the allegations. The trade, I feel as though that's secondary right now.
Yeah. Actually, this question did come from Jason Marvin from Norwich, Connecticut. Another one of Barry's
shout out
boys.
to Jason. That's another one of my guys.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Jason.
I think for me, like, I think the Patriots definitely not thinking about Deshaun Watson right now. You know, especially with this allegation, and
I don't think nobody is.
Well,
definitely to pause in the trade.
It came out. Some teams are still interested, you know, and I saw that the Patriots were not on that list. So,
I mean, I'm sure teams are still interested, but I bet you no team is gonna make the trade until
that's over.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I mean, he's as good as traded because, like, I don't know how he goes back to Houston. How they expect him to be their quarterback of the future. You know what I mean? Like, after that happens to him there, I think he's as good as gone, man. And, you know,
I don't see him going back there. Even before this, I didn't think he was gonna go back there, but definitely now after these allegations, yeah, he certainly won't be a Houston Texan, for much longer. And by the time, the next season comes, so yeah, he'll be playing quarterback, elsewhere. Just a matter of where. But like you said, it won't be a while till we find that out and we find out the result of, these allegations. So I think, certainly there's a pause in the, talks because teams are trying to wait and see what how the situation goes. But yeah, no, I certainly think he'll be somewhere. I think, depending on the result, I'd like to, it wouldn't be mind seeing the Patriots being interested and involved in these talks and getting back into the mix.
I'd be very surprised to see the Patriots in it, especially with the situation with the owner and stuff. We don't even need to hash that out, but we know what's going on. You know what I mean?
That's true. Right.
You know what that means.
I don't know how that didn't come across my mind. That's a good point, John.
On to the Patriots free agency, where, man, I mean, it's been a free agency like we've never seen before, and and it hasn't even been a week into free agency. The Patriots took the league by storm, but first let's update you on some news from the Patriots. Patrick Chung retired. We thought he was going to come back this year, but he has since retired from the Patriots, and he's one of the Patriots fan favorites. He was drafted by the Patriots, then he left and played for the Philadelphia Eagles for a couple of years, came back, and he grew his legend a little more here, won a couple Super Bowls with the Patriots. So he's one of those, safeties that's going to be remembered from the Patriots fan base for a long time. Right,
so
I
think he won 3 Super Bowls. Was he on that 2014?
I don't remember, but I know he's won a few. I know he's won 2 at least. He
won 3.
Yeah, so he was on that 2014 team. Right.
That's right. Good for him.
Absolutely.
The Patriots signed their kicker from last year, and I don't think any of us will be mad at that. Nick Folk, he was probably the best player on the team last year. He scored majority, like 99% of his points, you know what I mean? So he was out there doing this thing. The Patriots brought back Dietrich Wise. They brought back David Andrews, who we all thought was actually going to be gone in free agency. But I think since the Patrick Chung situation happened, bring back Andrews, So
Zach had more money in the salary cap, so that came in clutch for sure.
Yeah, Donta Hightower is back in the fold. And Kyle Van Noy is also back, and he's already made like a video, saying he's back. And
on Twitter, I saw that.
I know a lot of Patriots fans are like, please shut up and just play the ball.
Right. Tends to talk too much.
We don't need that boogeyman shit over here, right?
Right. Leave that in the past. Right. Just play ball.
Right. The Patriots traded Ryan Izzo to the Texans for 2022 7th round pick. They also traded Marcus Cannon to the Texans for a 4th round and a 6th round pick. And on to the free agents that the Patriots got. So since the start of free agency, the Patriots signed first tight end John Smith to a $50 million contract, $31.25 million guaranteed. The former Dolphins defensive tackle Devon Godshaw on a 2-year, $60 million contract. Former Ravens Matt Judon to a 4-year, $56 million contract, $32 million guaranteed. Former Eagles defensive back Jalen Mills to a 4-year, $24 million contract, $9 million guaranteed. Former 49ers Kendrick Bourne, he's a wide receiver. He agreed to a 3-year deal worth $22.5 million. Former Raiders wideout Nelson Aguilar, 2 years, $26 million deal. Former Packers defensive end Montravius Adams to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. Former Dolphins linebacker Raekwon McMillan, he signed a 1-year deal. They signed another tight end, Hunter Henry, to a 3-year, $37.5 million deal. Former Jets defensive tackle Henry Anderson to a 2-year deal. And then the Patriots, Kyle Van Noy came back here on a 2-year, $11.8 $1.88 million contract. And if that seemed like a lot of people, that's because that was a whole lot of people that we brought in a really short amount of time.
But did you mention Ted Karras?
Ted Karras,
We
signed
also brought him back
from
we
the Dolphins.
Andrews was leaving,
leaving, and now he's going to be the backup center. He was supposed to be our starter, and now David Andrews like, hey, I love Patriots. That's where I'm staying. So, and David Andrews actually took less money to stay with the Patriots as well, right?
That's true. And Karras can play guard too, and so he's a pretty versatile lineman and piece to have on the line. He can play multiple positions.
Right. With all that said, right, what was your initial reaction to the news? Well, I mean, I know we were texting about it, throughout the time, but what was your real reaction to it? And I think a question is, can Cam Newton bring this new constructed team to the playoffs?
Well, this was really exciting to hear and to see. We were all debating what Bill Belichick was going to do in the offseason. And I think at some point I was saying I wanted Belichick to get a lot of offensive players in the free agency and then draft a lot of defensive players in the draft, because I think he's better at drafting defensive players, and offensive players, you can get them in the league if they're already developed. But he went out and got offensive players and defensive players. He spent so much money in free agency that we've never seen before.
Record amount.
The Patriots are a team that usually makes fun of other teams for spending an exuberant amount of money in free agency, but this year was the Patriots. But this also just tells you how bad the team was last year. We basically had nobody on the team last year, so we had to construct a new team. I think it's beautiful. It's exciting. There's a lot of expectation that comes with spending that amount of money. People want to see what you're gonna do with it in year one, and sometimes it might take more than 1 year to actually put that team together and make it work. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Bill Belichick, a lot of pressure on even Robert Kraft, because Robert Kraft came out saying, we usually not the team that spend that much in free agency, but we felt as though we needed to.
We're in the business to win.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So yeah, do I think Cam Newton can bring this team to the playoffs? Man, if you spend that amount of money, you bring that amount of offensive powers, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, you know what I mean? And you're trying to bring all the running backs, man, you have to make the playoffs. Like, you don't need to win the Super Bowl, but you have to make the playoffs. With, like, you went 7-9 last year, you have to win at least 3 more games. At least, like, the minimum 3 more games. 10-6, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, this year 17 games, right?
We don't know yet.
Yeah, that still hasn't been confirmed.
So
right now, 16.
10-6 or 11-6, something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure if Cam Newton can do it, but he better do it.
Yeah, I think it was an extremely exciting week for the New England Patriots team and fans as well. I was excited and jumping up for joy when I heard these signings and screaming at the top of my lungs, particularly when they had signed John Smith and Hunter Henry. I knew they would had a good chance to get one, but I didn't think they were gonna get both of them. And boom, what do you know? We end up getting both guys, 2 of the best tight ends available on the free agency market, and they're both here with the Patriots. So I'm definitely excited for that, as well as the other pieces and players that we've added to this roster that will definitely help and contribute to the team and make it a lot better than what it was last year. I certainly think that the Patriots were in a position where like you said, that they had no choice. Like they had to spend this money, and they had to make moves and get busy, and then that's exactly what they did, because I mean they had the second most amount of cap space. The only teams that had close amount of cap space were the Jaguars and the Jets, and they're not really gonna be able to make moves or attract as many free agents to come to their team as the Patriots could. So they were definitely fortunate, but that they were in the position that they were in, that they actually did have the money that they did to be able to go out and spend it, in the cap. And Bill Belichick was definitely blowing money fast, like Rick Ross. He was on his Rick Ross this week.
He had that stimmy.
That stimmy check came in. That's right. It came in handy and at a perfect time. Right. He definitely, wasn't scared to blow that stimmy, and he certainly, put it to good use, to say the least. I like how they, addressed all the needs on both sides of the ball. Because they addressed, the defensive line and the linebacker depth, and that was a big hole on this team. So I'm glad that they, got, pieces to help out with that. And, they certainly addressed, Trung being, retired, and got another safety, another defensive back that can, give us more depth and help, fill that void of Pat Chung retiring. And then, on offense, they, besides the two tight ends, they got the two receivers that should definitely be able to help us a lot on the offensive side of the ball as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to all those guys, being here and seeing them play, and hope that they can contribute.
Can Newton take them to the playoffs?
Ooh, can he take them to the playoffs? Whew. Damn. Shoot. He better. I mean, like, he has no excuse. We've given him weapons, because people kept making excuses for this guy. Oh, look who he's playing with. He has no talent, no receivers, no weapons. On offense, he has, right, no receivers, no tight ends. Like, these guys can't get separation from a parked car.
Was that wrong, or because that was your words?
That they couldn't get separation from a parked car?
Right. That was your criticism.
I mean, they weren't wrong, but I mean, he still could have done more. So could have obviously played better himself. But now they've actually given him the talent and the weapons that he needs to be able to perform better and to play at a high level. Now it comes down to him to working, like I said, on his fundamentals and his mechanics, which was the main issue of why he didn't play as well and why he was putrid and grossly underperformed, throughout the season last year. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. He has to make the playoffs with this team. If he doesn't, then he might as well just retire and, and stop playing football. Because if you don't, you can put just about any quarterback in the NFL in this position, and they're at least making the playoffs. Like, put Andy Dalton in this position or Mitch Trubisky in this position, and they'd at least make the playoffs and be a wild card team. So Cam Newton better damn well make the playoffs next season if he is the starting quarterback, which I'm still not sold he'll be the starter, because I still think they'll bring someone else that could definitely be capable of taking the job and competing for the position for him. But yeah, if he is the guy, the starting quarterback, he has to make the playoffs. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. No more excuses and not holding this guy accountable, because I'm sick and tired of hearing it from Patriot fans.
I think for me, when we were talking about how the team was kind of trash, and Bill Belichick didn't do his due diligence, and one thing I did say was that now who we don't know what to expect, right? Tom Brady's not here to win all these games that, you know what I mean, coming from the back and all that stuff. And that, you know, it would be more exciting now because now it's like not everything's a given. And Bill Belichick just did that on him, man. And, you know, it ended up on a perfect year where nobody had salary cap. I mean, there's 3 teams that had salary caps. So what the Patriots did this offseason, the Jaguars could have done and the Colts could have done. And they didn't do shit.
I think the Jets, too. The Jets had
the
some
Jets
good
too,
cap space, too.
and they didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Not a damn thing.
A Colts team that has no tight end, you know, you left the 2 best tight ends out there. You let New England get them. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, I just loved every single move he made. I think we've been criticizing Bill Belichick for a year as far as, like, him being a GM. Hey, him being a GM recognized, like, hey, I wasn't doing the best job I needed to last year. And he did talk about he was strapped for cash. And as soon as we had the cash, we seen him spend more than he's ever spent before. And I feel like he's gotten –
spending that money, baby.
Yeah.
Spending
I feel like
money. Yes, yes.
He's gotten some plays that actually fit the team from my account. Like he's signed at least 10 starters just this offseason. You know, from the guys that we're bringing back to the guys that we brought in, there's got at least 10 guys that are going to contribute a lot on this team, you know, starting next year. Like this team right now, think about a Matthew Stafford. If we had all these players, do you think about going to the Rams or the Patriots now? You know what I mean? Because, like...
No, he would definitely reconsider.
Who do the Rams have?
He didn't want to come here. And so, no, the Rams got a good team. The Rams...
No, on offense, who do they have? They have Cooper Kupp.
This guy, Robert Woods. They got Cam Akers. They got the tight end Higbee.
I think he still would have went to the.
You think he still would have chose the Rams over the Patriots?
Yeah, I think he's just not.
If you have 2 of the best tight ends in the NFL, you know what I mean, and you don't need Aguilar or Bourne to like be 1,000 yards receivers each. You just need them. To get.
I don't like the Aguilar signing.
Really?
No.
You don't?
Why is that?
Wow.
I just don't like Aguilar. I just don't think he's a reliable receiver.
Right, because of his time in the Eagles, right?
Not just with the Eagles. Even last year, I think he
last year he played pretty well.
He balled, Vlad.
Nah,
he was balling last year.
Did he ball? Okay, let me pull up the stats. He balled.
He balled last year.
He didn't ball last year.
He balled last year.
He did his thing last year.
He did. Like he had like over 700 yards and had like 8 TDs or something like that.
700 yard is not balling. Come on.
How much did our top receiver here have?
Oh no, he's better than anything we have. I just don't like him. Last year he had 48 receiving, 896 yards, 8 TD.
48 receiving. That's a really good
900 yards.
48 balls, you got 800 yards, bro. That's a lot of yards, bro.
800. I'll agree
That's
with
a good season.
I'll agree with that amount of yards. 896 yards, really good. That's really good.
You know, the one thing I keep seeing about him, you know, and he's not reliable. He drops a lot of passes, right? Get this, right? For the last 2 years, he's dropped 12 balls, right? The last 2 years, I believe.
Okay.
A player
mostly with the Eagles.
Yep, a player with the Patriots has had 24 drop passes in the last 2 years. You know who that is?
Edelman.
Jesus, my goodness.
Edelman, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like,
oh Lord, 24.
So I think we should bring back that narrative a little bit. You know, what I mean, I think that
I don't
meme.
know. I'm still not a big fan of him, but we'll see.
I think that video, the guy, that was shitting on Aguilar got into everybody's heads.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Vlad, the funny thing is, I feel like if you hear Aguilar speak, you'll be like, oh, I like that guy. Did you hear him on the interview?
No, I haven't heard him, but I don't hate Aguilar himself. I just don't think he's a reliable player, but maybe I'm wrong. I didn't know.
I thought he had slightly overpaid for him.
I thought he had
I don't think so.
I thought he had less than 600 yards, but 896 yards is actually pretty good.
I think in a couple of years, we're going to be looking at the deal like, yo, Belichick did his thing this year because these payments, because the cap is about to go up. and people are going to get paid even more.
Oh yeah, because of
You
the
know what I
new
mean?
TV deal that's coming up.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. But I think another question that we had from DJ B Dog,
My guy, DJ B Dog.
predictions for the upcoming season after all these moves. Will Cam Newton be the starter for the upcoming season?
Well, my prediction for the season, like I said earlier, is at least 10-6 or 11-6. 10-6 for a 16-game season, 11-6 for a 17-game season. Will Cam Newton be the starter? I do think Cam Newton will be the starter day one. I don't know if he's gonna be the starter for the whole year, but day one he's definitely gonna be starting.
Yeah, I definitely see this team having a record above 500. Like it's just too good of a team, not too much talent not to at least be above 500 to say the least. But I think you're right. It really comes down to the quarterback position and who they get or whoever is in that position. As far as how they perform, I think that will, determine as far as, what their team's record is. I'd probably say it'd be somewhere around like 9-7, 10-6. I'm still not sold on Cam Newton being the starter. I think there's, they can bring in someone else. I think the starter for next year could not be here yet. So, I still want to see more from Cam Newton if he's going to be the starter. But, I think certainly this team's in a good position to, at least have a winning record and a winning season and get back into the playoffs as long as they can get a quarterback that can, be consistent and, and be productive and get these, playmakers that we got the football. So we'll see how the season goes, but I'm definitely expecting a much better season than last year, without a question.
I think my prediction is 11-5 for the Patriots, and the reason I say that is, despite Cam Newton's inefficiencies last year, we won 7 games. You know what I'm saying? And I think any other quarterback that would have came in here that wasn't like a starter from another team, I think they don't do that. I think we had Andy Dalton when we don't win 7 games. I think we have Jared Stidham start, all that time we don't win 7 games.
Definitely not.
Definitely
Stidham.
not.
Hell no.
So with that said, Cam Newton also had COVID. You know what I mean? Cam Newton was signed less than a month before the season started. Even then, he got the starting job. There was at least 3 games where we lost the game in the last possession of the game when we could have won the game, which we could have definitely been like a 10-6 team, and that's with everything that Cam Newton had to face. We can't forget that there was a pandemic last year. We also can't forget that we played a game on like a Monday where, we should have had the week off, and the NFL decided to screw us and have us play that game anyway against the Chiefs. And we almost got them with backup quarterbacks. So to me, with a full off season, for Cam Newton, 2 years removed from his shoulder surgery, familiarity in the offense, Josh McDaniels learning a little bit more about Cam Newton, and then come down to the weapons, I think this team could definitely, like, with a quarterback, like, let's say, I don't know, who's a mediocre quarterback right now? With a quarterback like Kyle Murray, we probably go deep into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, if without the performance of Cam Newton last year, we think a lot differently about this team going into this season. So that's my prediction for the year, and I'm definitely excited about it. But that's going to be it for the NFL and the Patriots segment.